So today's session that I'll be taking is on concept mapping. Now, what I will try to do today is basically introduce the idea of concept mapping, what it is, what can it help with, and there is a lot to concept mapping. It may not be possible to cover everything in one session, but we'll try to at least see how concept mapping can be useful for the initial part of thinking through of ideas for research. People have used concept mapping, while working with the data, uh, when they're engaging at different stages of one's research, right? So in that sense, there is a lot that one can do through it. And today I will try to focus initially on how it can be used to frame a research question. But people, of course, use it to reduce the size of data, analyze themes, look for relationships in a study, have themes placed out on a pictorial kind of a map, and then see what relationships, patterns can they see. So there are a lot of people who worked on concept mapping, and let's see what we can cover today in a short span of an hour or so. And then we'll have subsequent sessions that can take us forward, right? So I'll also briefly share a screen that I have, the PowerPoint that I had. Right. Okay. तो देखिए कॉन्सेप्ट मैपिंग का जो पूरा आइडिया है, वो आइडिया में कुछ रेफरेंसेस जो मैंने रेफर किए हैं आज के लिए, वो इस स्लाइड में है और इनके लिंक्स मैं कमेंट बॉक्स में भी शेयर कर दूंगी. Most of these materials, that I usually put in my PowerPoint are the ones that are available online. तो अगर आप कुछ जानते हैं कौन से साइट्स पे सर्च करना है, चाहे ये बुक फॉर्म में हो, रिसर्च पेपर फॉर्म में हो, I'm only using those sources for references that are freely available on the net, right? So please do look for them. Okay, so one book in which I was not really aware of this whole concept of concept mapping when I was doing my own research. It was much later that I came across an interesting book by Maxwell, on qualitative research design. और इस किताब में जो स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट ऑफ रिसर्च है, जो बहुत सारे किताबों में मिस हो जाते हैं. बहुत सारे रिसर्च के किताबों में आपको मेथोडोलॉजिकल पैराडाइम्स क्या हैं, what is social constructivism, what is positivist research, what is hermeneutics, what is interpretive research, critical research, इन पे बात होगा. केस स्टडी क्या है, एथनोग्राफी क्या है, methodologies पे बात होगा. फिर what are the different methods of data collection, आप इंटरव्यू यूज करेंगे या सर्वे यूज करेंगे, इन सब पे बात होता है. लेकिन इन सब से पहले, राइट, इन सब से पहले नहीं, लेकिन शुरुआत में ही हम किस चीज पे रिसर्च करेंगे, क्या वो सवाल हमारे पास हमेशा पहले से तैयार रहता है. when we frame, it is one thing to start with a theme. तो हम में से बहुत लोगों को जब रिसर्च एंटर करते हैं, ये पता होता है कि हम जेंडर पे काम करना चाहते हैं, या हम फाइनेंसिंग ऑफ एजुकेशन पे काम करना चाहते हैं, हम टीचर एजुकेशन पे काम करना चाहते हैं. तो ये तो आपका ब्रॉड थीम हो गया, राइट? आप किस डोमेन में काम करना चाहते हैं, किस एरिया में काम करना चाहते हैं. लेकिन उस एरिया में काम करते हुए आप सवाल क्या पूछेंगे, आपका रिसर्च का सवाल क्या होगा, वो उसके लिए एक प्रोसेस लगता है, राइट? Here it is also important to say, every question is not a research question. Every academic question, every question, which is a curious question, may not necessarily be a research question, right? Research question वो है जिसे सिस्टमैटिकली एक मेथोडोलॉजी के थ्रू, एक प्लान के थ्रू स्टडी किया जा सके. तो मेरा, अगर मान लीजिए रिसर्च क्वेश्चन ये है कि एक पर्टिकुलर तरीके का पेडागोजी का स्टूडेंट्स पे क्या इम्पैक्ट होता है, लेकिन मेरे पास उतना टाइम नहीं है कि मैं इम्पैक्ट को डिफाइन कर पाऊँ, इम्पैक्ट को स्टडी कर पाऊँ। वो इम्पैक्ट मतलब शॉर्ट टर्म है या लॉन्ग टर्म है। इफ आई वांट टू सी वेदर टीचिंग ऑफ लाइफ स्किल्स इन स्कूल makes for mature individuals in future. Now, how do I study this? Is there a way in which I can see whether those students who were taught resilient skills, life skills in their school turn out to be mature individuals? Is there a way I can study that? Right? If there is not a methodology that allows me to study it, then this can be an interesting question. It cannot be a research question. For research question, I should be able to map it out, to think of a methodology, to think of methods of data collection that will help me be able to answer it. Right? अगर मैं ये कहूँ कि how these life skills or resilience skills begin to shape coping strategies of children, and then I have certain ways to figure out or to test what kind of coping strategies they are developing, then it is a research question. Right? तो और एक डोमेन में भी देखिए आप बहुत सारे सवाल पूछ सकते हैं. अगर हम जेंडर एंड एजुकेशन का ही डोमेन देखें तो तरह तरीके के सवाल पूछे जा सकते हैं. बहुत सारा काम टेक्स्ट बुक्स पे हुआ है, रिप्रेजेंटेशन पे हुआ है कि टेक्स्ट बुक्स में जेंडर रिप्रेजेंटेशन किस तरीके से है, क्लासरूम इंटरैक्शंस में हो सकता है, टीचर्स के बिलीफ्स पे हो सकता है, पीयर ग्रुप रिलेशनशिप में कैसे जेंडर डायनामिक्स प्ले करते हैं उसके ऊपर हो सकता है. तो करिकुलम, पेडागोजी, different participants in the process of education, there can be any number of questions that can be asked just in these two domains. So which will be our questions? हम किस क्वेश्चन में इंटरेस्टेड हैं? डोमेन आइडेंटिफाई करने से रिसर्च क्वेश्चन तक पहुंचने में एक प्रोसेस लगता है. इट्स अ बैक एंड फोर्थ प्रोसेस. इट्स अ प्रोसेस जिसमें लिटरेचर को पढ़ना. When we use the word literature in research, we means all the written academic material. It could be theoretical, it could be research, that will help you understand the concepts that that are central to your research better, right? And this process of engaging with literature, कि आप जैसे जैसे डोमेन आइडेंटिफाई कर रहे हैं, अपने रिसर्च के बारे में सोच रहे हैं, आप उसके बारे में पढ़ते रहें, बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है. क्योंकि अगर उन कॉन्सेप्ट्स पे जो काम हुआ है, थ्योरेटिकल काम हुआ है, रिसर्च का काम हुआ है, अगर उस काम को आपने बहुत ध्यान से नहीं पढ़ा है, उसे आप नहीं पढ़ पाए हैं, तो उसका इम्पैक्ट आपके पूरे रिसर्च में रहेगा. For instance, if you're trying to understand if the curriculum is gender inclusive, you just want to understand whether it's say primary school या middle school का curriculum जो है, is it inclusive of all genders, and you've not read any theoretical piece on gender. What is gender, how is it constructed, आप जेंडर को अगर आप टाइप्स देखो तो आप कितना उसमें हाउ मेनी जेंडर्स विल यू हैव, इज इट अ बाइनरी, इज इट अ नॉन, इज देयर आर देयर अदर अल्टरनेटिव identities, gender identities besides male and female? Does it suffice to just club them together under third gender, as if to say कि उसके अलावा जो भी ग्रुप है उनका सब homogeneous experience है? तो उस स्पेस में और कितने जेंडर्स आइडेंटिटीज आते हैं, इंटरसेक्स, non-binary identification of somebody as a trans person, trans man, trans woman, and it can go on. So as you start reading, each of these concepts will become, will have much more branches, right? उसके details आना शुरू होंगे, और इन details को concept map क्या करता है? It allows us to pictorially depict it. तो हमको वो हमारे एक माइंड मैप बन जाता है. उस माइंड मैप और कॉन्सेप्ट मैप में डिफरेंस है. माइंड मैप यूजुअली एक थीम है, उसको एक्सपैंड करता है, जबकि कॉन्सेप्ट मैपिंग में वी ट्राई टू, there could be more than one concepts, right, who we branch out and whose relationships we try to kind of figure out. So before I show you what concept map is, uh, just to tell you, it's a tool for developing the context for your research. It's basically a diagrammatic, a pictorial representation of the concepts, the way they are detailing, branching out. It allows you to see the relationships और try to help you figure out कि आप कौन से relationships देखना चाह रहे हैं. So in a way it's a way of thinking on paper, right? जैसे जैसे आप सोचना शुरू कर रहे हैं, वो आपका जो thinking दिमाग में है, concept map allows you to bring that thinking in front of you in form of a picture. So you're able to better engage with it, better reflect on it, better identify the gaps, see which parts of it you will want to expand. तो concept map में जो दो essential चीजें आपको दिखेंगी वो है concepts और उनके बीच में relationships. तो concepts usually हम circles या boxes में डालते हैं और relationships हम arrows और lines के through convey करते हैं. So let me go to the next slide. Right. हाँ, so this is just one brief example. जैसे आप अभी मैंने एक concept को अगर हम लेकर चले, तो आपने मान लीजिए कोई एक concept identify किया, आप mental health पे काम करना चाहते हैं, तो वो आपका central concept हो जाएगा, right? Just one second. Yeah. Right. So when you're working, say on this, or you want to work, say on mental health, this is your central concept. Just one second. I'm just seeing if it is possible for me to use. Yeah. So this is the central concept that you have. इसके बाद आप देखना, some of these questions जरूरी नहीं है आप यही सवाल पूछें, right? But कई बार ये इस तरीके के सवाल आपको उसको ब्रांच आउट करने में हेल्प करते हैं कि इस कॉन्सेप्ट के बारे में आपको क्या क्या ऑलरेडी पता है. यहाँ पे मैं ये भी कहना चाहूंगी कि कॉन्सेप्ट मैप सिर्फ एक बार नहीं बनता है रिसर्च में. It is a good idea. Nowadays, I'll show you there are n number of sites where you can try to make concept maps for free. So these are useful sites to use, but they allow you to take a PDF form or take a printout. What I would suggest is कि जैसे जैसे आपका concept map evolve होता है, आप पिछले वाले concept map को erase मत कीजिए, right? Save it in a file, or if a lot of us prefer doing it on papers. I find it doing in a handwritten way, on a paper easier. So मैंने एक concept map बनाया, फिर उसको जब branch out किया, then I'll copy it and I'll expand it from there. तो कुछ चीजें कम होती जाएंगी, कुछ और expand होती जाएंगी. But when I have say 10 papers with at different stages of concept mapping, it also allows me to trace my progress, right? It allows me to go back and see कि क्या जो मैंने directions लिए हैं, क्या वो informed directions थे, then that also helps you build rationale for your research, right? तो concept map is not a one-time exercise. आप शुरू करेंगे, अपना इनिशियल जो आपके पास इंफॉर्मेशन है उसको पहले नोट करने की कोशिश करेंगे. That picture, the first picture will help you realize कि आपको किस चीज में इंटरेस्ट है और आप कौन सा लिटरेचर से एंगेज करना चाहेंगे. So for instance, like I said, अगर मैंने यहाँ पे सेंट्रल कॉन्सेप्ट किया मेंटल हेल्थ, तो मुझे उसके बारे में क्या क्या चीजें पता हैं. मैं मेंटल हेल्थ की बात, वन कुड बी साइट्स, मैं मेंटल हेल्थ की बात कहाँ कर रही हूँ, स्कूल में, वर्क प्लेस में, होम सेटिंग में, लार्जर सोसाइटी में. So I could list down that. What do I know about mental health? What causes it, or what factors cause either well-being or any kind of disturbance to mental health. So I may list down all those factors as, causes or factors का एक arrow बनेगा, right? ये मेरा एक दूसरा circle हो गया. And इसमें I will start noting down whatever is it that I know of these. Right? Predisposing factors क्या है, precipitating factors क्या है. मतलब अगर मैं mental disturbance, am I talking about mental health? So then what are the factors that contribute to health? Right? What are the things that help you cope? So a good home environment, are there environmental factors? Are there genetic factors? Or if I'm looking at, any kind of mental distress, then then my factors will look different, right? What are the precipitating factors, predisposing factors? Unme bhi environmental stresses kya hai? Which, is it an inherent disposition, and so on. I'll list out whatever I know. Am I looking at any particular stage of life? Ki childhood mein, adolescence mein, youth mein, am I interested in, do I know how it happens? What is the process of it developing? What kind of what kind of trajectory does it take? Process, am I aware of what impact it has, on people? There could be so many other things with mental health, right? Strategies to address certain issues or interventions, and so on, right? Types, mental health के अगर हम distress की बात कर रहे हैं, तो what are the types that I'm aware of, right? Once I list them down in this concept map, whatever I know under these sections, I make this concept map that will allow me to see what is it that I don't know enough of, right? तो अगर मैंने causes लिखे हैं, are these exhaustive causes? क्या मैंने जो causes हो सकते थे जो mental well-being को promote करते हैं, have I written down all the causes, right? I would have written some. So that is one direction that my literature review can now take. And then I start filling this. If I'm thinking about how, what about how I want to focus on, right? So इसमें भी मैं ये जानने की कोशिश कर सकती हूँ कि अब okay, कितना चीजें मुझे पता है, list down किया, and then see, is it exhaustive? Even if I feel it is exhaustive, I should still engage with literature to check, कि जो मैंने लिखा है क्या वो exhaustive है? Does it cover everything? Is there anything else that I need to know? So your first level of concept map then would be made. आप कुछ you एक टाइम पे जरूरी नहीं है कि आप सारी चीजें एक्सप्लोर करें, राइट? आप कुछ चीजों को एक्सप्लोर करेंगे, वो ब्रांच आउट होंगी, then you'll know that what is it that you really want to study. मान लीजिए ये ब्रांच आउट हो गया और ये ब्रांच आउट हो गया, या वेन ब्रांच आउट हो गया, या साइट्स ब्रांच आउट हो गया, then I may use relationships. ये स्कूल है, I may want to see what are the factors, what are the positive factors in school settings that can help or contribute to mental well-being of children, right? So then suppose here I've talked about some predisposing factors. I've selected school as one of the sites, and then I kind of create a relationship. यहाँ पे suppose here I have say coping strategies or life skills or something. इसको जब ब्रांच आउट किया तो एक इस तरीके से आया, वेयर में एक साइट मैंने जो आइडेंटिफाई किया वो स्कूल था, अब मैं देखने की कोशिश कर सकती हूँ कि स्कूल एंड द वे आई पुट माय एरोज विल डिटरमिन मैं कौन सा रिलेशनशिप देखना चाह रही हूँ, राइट? कि कहीं और पे कोपिंग स्ट्रैटेजीज हमको स्कूल में कैसे कोप करने के लिए मदद करते हैं, या स्कूल में क्या स्ट्रैटेजी सिखाते हैं जो हमें कोपिंग में मदद करते हैं, राइट? सो माय एरो विल शो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ रिलेशनशिप आई वांट टू स्टडी. So from a very large concept, a much broader domain, mental well-being or mental distress, I've come to something now more specific, which is I want to understand how school as a system, as an ecosystem of child, helps in promoting coping strategies that could be useful for mental well-being, right? I may choose to include, I may choose to ignore some of these, I may choose to include some of these, right? It could be, कई बार इसमें और भी चीजें आ सकती हैं कि whose mental well-being are we talking about, right? उसमें सोशियो कल्चरल बैकग्राउंड हो सकता है, एज हो सकता है, जेंडर हो सकता है. Do I want to see the role of gender in, how school facilitates coping strategies? So it is up to me then to see which directions, which particular directions of relationships I may want to explore, right? और जरूरी नहीं है कि आप सब एक ही मैप में बनाएं, right? अगर आप एक चीज डेवलप करना शुरू करते हैं तो हो सकता है कि आप जो नेक्स्ट कॉन्सेप्ट मैप बनाएं उसमें थीम आपने कहीं यहाँ पे लिखा हो, हाउ अदर्स व्हेन बस एक एक एरो में आ गए हैं, और ये वाला जो वेयर बाय व्हाट है वो बहुत ब्रांच आउट होके अब आपका आधे से ज्यादा जो स्पेस है, राइट, वो यही कॉन्सेप्ट्स ऑक्यूपाई करते हैं क्योंकि ये ज्यादा ब्रांच आउट हो गए. Right? So like that, if you keep the original copies and you keep building on this, you will also know how you're progressing. It allows you to come back if you've missed something. So, I hope this is becoming slightly familiar. Right. So now, let me, right. So like I showed you one example here, you can use prompts like how, when, by, where, what, for whom, and so on to kind of, help you build your concept map. This is a diagram that I've taken from a YouTube video, which is from the George Mason libraries. So, this could also be one way of developing a concept map, ki aap ek theme lein, things you already know about it, right? You list them down, usko bhi aap फिर लिटरेचर्स को रेफर करके चेक कर सकते हैं, डू यू रियली नो देम वेल इनफ, हैव यू कैप्चर्ड देम राइट और नॉट, थिंग्स यू डोंट नो अबाउट इट. सपोज इफ यू आर डूइंग इट फॉर एन असाइनमेंट, राइट, सो क्वेश्चंस रिलेटेड टू योर टॉपिक या जो सवाल आपके दिमाग में आ रहे हैं आप उनको लिस्ट करिए. Then you can see, for developing this, do you need something from, do you need something from this space, or you need something from this space, and so on, right? So all of these then become, useful way for you to develop कि आपको कहाँ पे पढ़ने की जरूरत है, कहाँ पे क्या चीज देखने की जरूरत है, right? So that could be one way of developing your concept map. Now what I'm coming to next is that, what I've done in the next few slides is that there are different वेबसाइट्स अवेलेबल जहाँ पे आप कॉन्सेप्ट मैप बना सकते हैं. आप ये भी नहीं चाहते हैं सिर्फ पीपीटी इज वन वे, जो मैंने पिछले एक उसमें कॉन्सेप्ट मैप आपसे शेयर किया था, ये वाला तो ये मैंने पीपीटी पे बनाया था टेक्स्ट बॉक्स इंसर्ट करके और एरो इंसर्ट करके, राइट. बट बहुत सारे ऐसे प्लेटफॉर्म्स अवेलेबल हैं जहाँ पे बनाना आसान हो जाता है, आप वो यूज कर सकते हैं, या जैसे मैंने कहा कि आप पेपर पेन भी यूज कर सकते हैं. सो व्हाट आई ट्राइड टू डू इज, इन द नेक्स्ट 3 slides is to share some of these sites which help you make concept maps, and through that give you just some more examples of how concept maps can be imagined. And like I said, most of the examples that I have shared, of course, comes from areas that I'm more familiar with. And we can definitely have more sessions, with scholars from different disciplines. One of the scholars from economics of education, Dr. Reem Ashraf, has already, said that she will be happy to take some sessions on this or other topics of interest. So then we can see, how concept maps may, emerge specific to different disciplinary orientations. So yeah, so this, so one site that allows you to build concept map is this. It's poplet.com, right? ये वाला जो मैंने मैप बनाने की कोशिश की थी कल, वो इस साइट से बनाया था. सो इट अलाउज यू टू पुट बॉक्सेस, पुट डायरेक्शंस. कई बार अगर डायरेक्शंस ना आप sometimes you feel confident enough, kai baar even I was trying some of these for the first time. I may not have been able to get the directionality right, but I can always add those, right? So for example, the main theme I started was with sexual harassment. What about sexual harassment? Like, what are the different things? A major aspect is gender, both in terms of, इधर मैंने लिखा नहीं है, but maybe the first division I may want to see is, perpetrator, and who's at the, who's the victim of it. The site where it happens, redressal mechanisms, impact, causes, and so on. Then, gender may, again, I tried to fill what I knew, but it may take me more research to see whether does it suffice for me to say trans person. Do I need to branch it out further, because the experience of harassment, it may have a different form in case of trans man, trans woman. Just recently, one of my students did did his MA dissertation. So his area of work was on exploring trans experiences, in educational institutions. And one of the key findings was also, how toilets are a major site of violence, largely for trans women, right? So I may want to explore. इस तो मुझे अब पता लग रहा है कि शायद this is one area where I need to engage with more literature to make sure that the categories that I am using in my research are informed. अगर आप यहाँ पे literature के साथ engage नहीं करेंगे, right? Suppose I don't even take this into account. I limit my imagination to these two, and I think I know. Then my study would exclude so much, right? Or if I write this, but I don't feel the need to understand this further to see whether it's a homogeneous category, are there multiple subcategories within it? Then again, जिस तरीके के मैं questionnaires develop करूंगी, जिस तरीके का मैं sample के बारे में सोचूंगी, all of that gets affected with how well you understand your concept. अगर ये concept में detail में नहीं समझी हूँ, that means मेरा sample उतना representative नहीं होगा. I may miss out on some, the kind of questions I asked will not be exhaustive enough. So then what I find out, through my research, will also not be, very helpful. It may not really advance knowledge in ways that one would want to advance knowledge, right? मतलब रिसर्च करने के लिए एक जो बहुत जरूरी चीज है वो ये है कि आपको इट मे बी अ एरिया दैट यू आर ऑलरेडी वेरी पैशनेट अबाउट. it may be something which is very close to your experience, right? पर आप अगर रिसर्च कर रहे हो, मतलब कोई चीज है जिसको आप बेहतर समझना चाहते हो. अगर आपको लगता है आप उसका हर एस्पेक्ट समझ चुके हो, तो फिर उस पर रिसर्च करने की जरूरत नहीं है, right? There are things about which I feel, I may feel confident about my understanding, rightly or wrongly so. But if I feel confident about my understanding there, then instead of researching, I will, rather select my role to be an activist there, because I understand it. I know what is happening, right? And I know what intervention I want to make. But if I'm doing research, that means there is a part of me that no matter how engaged, still, if I know what happens, maybe I want to understand how it happens so I can intervene better. I understand sexual harassment is wrong, but suppose as a member of Committee for Prevention of Sexual Harassment, I want to do a research that will help me develop, much more helpful intervention or sensitization materials, right? Now, simply knowing कि patriarchy है, sexism है, power, inequality है, are fine. but how do I create modules, right, which are useful? I will need to understand, the hows of it. What are people's perceptions? How do they see things? How is it happening? Then perhaps even, I would be able to maybe develop modules uh, that serve better purpose, right? Because I've made effort to understand, what kind of thinkings are problematic, what is leading to those thinking, so where I have to intervene, right? So extremely important that as you develop your concept map, it is backed by engagement with theoretical and research literature. So I've explored, so one aspect of it is gender, site, where, I mean, it could be home, educational institution, workplace. Workplace was something that interested me. Types of workplace, nature of employment. I'm sure there are other ways to also think about workplace, right? So I thought of formal sector, informal sector, nature of employment, permanent, temporary. So some aspects you see that I have felt more interested in, and I have developed them more. Some I've mentioned that these are also there. Maybe at a future stage, I will develop them more. Right? And here I may then see what is it that, I want to study about sexual harassment or sexual harassment, of women, and then see what about it I want to understand. Do I wish to understand the redressal mechanisms available for women at workplace? I may want to understand, do formals, the experience of sexual harassment of women in formal and informal sector, how it differs, what are the different kind of trajectories, different kind of experiences, different kind of redressal factors that are available. I may want to see if nature of employment plays a role in making somebody more vulnerable to sexual harassment, right? Since I am from education domain, for me, nature of employment largely would be permanent, temporary, and temporary, contractual, ad hoc, guest. There may be other ways of branching it out, right? So for each of that, you will need to engage more and keep developing this concept map, and then see what are the relationships that you think exist, that literature confirms. What are the relationships that are not yet confirmed, but you would wish to explore? And that will help you arrive at a research question. Right, so let me just open this website also. Um, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this was the website that I had used. If I just, what it does is you click here, it allows you to make a new POPL. You can enter something in it, whatever it is that you may want. I'm just putting, say, online learning. It has, the moment you click it, you can extend, it allows you to create more bubbles. So I have this one, I can take it here. There is some, क्योंकि अभी बहुत सारे यहाँ पे हो गए हैं, शायद वो जा नहीं रहा है. But you can create links. It'll allow you to draw lines, to create connections, and so on. And just try. I mean, I got to know of some of these websites fairly late. You do hit and trial, and you'll figure out how to work with them. कि आपको जैसे यहाँ पे this site allowed me कि जो different typologies, different मतलब मेड कंसर्न्स है उनको मैं अलग से कलर कोड कर सकूं, ताकि व्हेन आई लुक एट दिस, it kind of becomes easy for me to engage with it, right? So I know that all things associated with site are in red, all with gender are in orange, maybe all the impacts are in green. So you use colors, directions the way you feel would be most useful for you, right? Some, if you're doing it on a PPT, you may want to even add comment boxes, if you think something is coming to your mind. So this is one site that I have used, and I found it, I mean, it was useful to, work with this. And it allows you to create multiple boxes and so on, right? So this is one. Let me come back to the PowerPoint. Yeah. Sorry. Is this PowerPoint visible now?
Yes, yes.
It is. Okay, wait, sorry. I think I just one second. So this was one. The other, like I said, I tried with mental health. This is another site, Cockle.it. Again, here I use the example of mental health. So the first concerns that came to my mind when I was thinking about this were, right? So the major concern was mental health. Then next things I thought was among whom, the how of it. So what factors impact, where I want to study it, concerns, um, yeah, the strategies. And then, with each of these, you start branching out. So among whom, youth, children, adults, how factors may precipitating, predisposing factors in strategies. Do I want to, focus on psychoeducation? Now, for each of these, you will need to engage with literature of, literature. कि किस तरीके के strategies हैं, इंटरवेंशन स्ट्रैटेजीज हैं, कुछ स्ट्रैटेजीज हैं जो प्रिवेंटिव रोल ज्यादा प्ले करते हैं. अगर हम साइको एजुकेशन की बात कर रहे हैं, मे बी डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ इट, with whom we are looking at it. And then you may want to see, how does the psychoeducation of parents contribute to mental health or well-being of, say, children or young adolescents, right? So this is how, and you can create multiple kind of relationships here. So let me also show you this particular website now. Right. I hope this is visible. Is this website visible? Google.it?
Yes, it is.
So this one also allows you to create maps. You have a plus. Once you identify a central concept, it allows you to create a central concept. And then, number of associations you want to create with it, you can click there. So once I formed about whom, I can click more here and create branches for this. So this is also a helpful website that can help you build concept maps, right? Let me show you a third one now. Just one second. Right. So there is one which is called this bubble.us, which it's another useful site that can help you create concept maps. So here, suppose I want to explore something on my main domain is digital learning, right? So again, I may want to figure out in terms of um, digital learning for whom, at what level, for whom in terms of, it could be age, socioeconomic background, linguistic concept. In level, I may think of higher education or school. In school, I may think of preschool, primary school, middle school. I may think by whom, under what platform. So whatever you need to know, you start filling in, whatever you fill in first, and then branch out more. Right. So for this also, and then we can say what we may want to see where in terms of even rural urban context, and then see that, maybe figure out that the exact relationship or the exact the relation that we want to explore is around digital learning of women in rural areas at, say, primary school level, and so on and so forth, right? So this is another interesting website that allows you to create concept maps. One second. Yeah. Right. So in most of these, you just need, these are free websites. You just need to sign in with your email IDs, and you can use it, right? So once you sign in, you register, they will allow you to build concept maps. So feel free to use some of these. It may be helpful for you. And coming back to the slides that I had. Yeah. Right. So coming back to this, so yeah, these are the different ways in which you build concept maps. And again, different steps of building concept maps would be, first, think of a domain, write it down on a piece of paper, then think of all the things that you know about it, right? So if I'm thinking of mental health or mental distress, what do I know about it? Once I've jotted down on a piece of paper what I know about it, I can then see, which things come together, what is the way in which I can group them, and then I place them on a concept map. So in mental health, I am aware of, in mental distress, I'm aware of these types, I'm aware of these causes, I'm aware of, this group that faces it, or, has received some kind of intervention for it, I'm aware of this. I place that on concept map, and then start engaging, start finding out materials, sources where I can get more information. I start filling it. I may need to correct something. It's not like whatever information I may begin with may be the most accurate information. So, reading the right theoretical research papers will help me correct if there is some error in my own conceptual understanding. So I will revise it, and then develop it based on my interest. So initial concept maps may see all the, may see a little bit of branching on all aspects, and then as you become more interested in some aspects, you will see that the branchings out will also become more specific and with much more details, right? So the example, there is one book by Matthew Miles and Michael Huberman, which is on qualitative analysis. It's a useful book that also discusses concept map. There is this paper by Barbara Dele, which again talks about concept maps. And there are some examples of concept maps. Okay, I don't know if you can see this. Yeah. Right. So this is one, in framing of research project, this is one kind of concept map that they are building, right? So this is, applying the scholarship of teaching and learning. So adult students in higher education, so scholarship of teaching and learning. So what all is included in it? So they started with whatever they know is included in it: self-reflection, assessment, application, critical reflections, inquiry. And then each of these, reflection में क्या क्या आता है, reflection के modes क्या है, teacher journal, peer review, assessment के key concepts क्या है. And this is how then they start building this further and further as they engage with more literature. One thing which I would want to share here is, while working with students on concept map, was that, concept map precedes, I mean, not precedes, but the beginning of concept mapping precedes research question. तो अगर आपके पास already एक पूरा clear cut question है, role of this in helping these cope with this, and you write that whole statement in the middle concept, then all the relationships and concepts are already in it, right? So concept map helps when you don't have a clear research question, but you've identified some domains. Right? So yeah, I think I'll stop here for this particular session, because there is a lot more, that can be said about concept maps, but which will depend on for what purpose you're using them, in which discipline you're using them. Again, concept maps do not necessarily have to be in this form. Sometimes people use flow charts, they use trees, where one branches out, like you have for organizational structures, right? So something at the top, then it comes down. Some even use Venn diagrams to form it. So it depends on what topic that you're using. These can be useful even for developing a paper, right? If you want to write a paper, what should the focus of your paper be, what parts will you focus on, which will you capture, and for definitely for beginning to think about research and coming to the finalization at least of your major aims of research. And so I'll stop sharing here. So yeah, it was a shorter session today. I don't want to do a lot of information load in this one session. So if you have any questions or any feedback, anything you'd like to share.
So it's just for clarification. So when we talk about concept maps and populating different boxes that we first conceive, that is when we talk about putting things there, we are essentially talking about putting things there based on our experience and also whatever literature we have come across, right? So far. And then we can, further modify or, cross check or, update. Yeah.
Sure, because that what you already know and your experience, it just gives you a starting point, right? Even because कोई भी एक चीज अगर आप लेंगे तो उसमें बहुत ज्यादा अगर आप, जैसे मैंने कहा, अगर आप ऑनलाइन लर्निंग को ही ले, उसमें कितने सारी चीजें हैं जो आती हैं, उसका इम्पैक्ट क्या है, हम ऑनलाइन लर्निंग को किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में देख रहे हैं. Are we thinking of online learning as something that also exists for those who are in different formal institutional spaces but want to explore something on their own? Or are we imagining it in formal learning spaces as the major pedagogic strategy? Whom are we talking about? What are the different for aaj ke time pe, initially online learning, when it was more about people voluntarily opting for some courses that are available online, we've shifted to an online learning in which classes are happening through WhatsApp. So there are so many facets of it. Having beginning with what we know, putting it at some point of some kind of a diagram will help कि आप किस चीज के बारे में अब और जानना चाहते हैं, कि ऑनलाइन लर्निंग क्या है के बारे में और जानना चाहते हैं, कैसे शुरू हुआ के बारे में ज्यादा जानना चाहते हैं, आज किस फॉर्म में है, किन किन प्लेटफॉर्म्स में होता है, किस तरीके के सब्जेक्ट्स के लिए कंड्यूसिव फैसिलिटेटिव है, नहीं है. So that will help you even organize your search for literature.
Correct.
So concept maps is for ease and clarity, as we don't include it in research document. Yeah, it's largely for your own research, for your clarity. Nobody will ask you to have concept maps in your research proposals. But I mean, concept maps can also, when in different research proposals, you're supposed to have a rationale, right? A lot of times, I mean, here I know that different academics differ on where research questions should be placed in a research proposal. I'm aware, and that I know a lot of academics who say that research questions should be shared right in the first chapter after you've introduced your key concepts. Some feel that research questions cannot come before review of literature, because it is the gaps that you identify with literature, your engagement with literature, which actually leads you to develop and articulate your research questions, right? And I mean, so far, it's not at least in academics, it's not a settled debate. Each one of us may have our own position. So for me, it may be a settled question that I would prefer research questions to come after literature review. आप introduction के बाद अपना broad theme aim लिख सकते हैं, but I know there are others who think differently. So if you have a concept map, it will help you show that how your research question is developing, and that can also reflect in the way you're connecting your literature or how you're writing about your rationale. So it can give you those important pointers, right? You don't have to write the whole journey of it as it is, but you're able to document the process of your own advancement in terms of gaining clarity of about different ideas. तो वहां पे वो बहुत मदद करता है. मतलब बहुत बार मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि जब आप रिसर्च क्वेश्चंस को देखते हो और उसके बाद मतलब आप लिटरेचर रिव्यू को देखते हो, रिसर्च क्वेश्चंस को देखते हो, मुझे कई बार, और ये मैं अभी एमए लेवल की बात कर रही हूँ, क्योंकि ऑफ कोर्स फॉर देम it's just a training in methods. So of course our expectations have to be according to what that they've just started engaging with methods. But it is like कि research question set है, फिर हर एक कॉन्सेप्ट पे 3 लिटरेचर लिख दिए, उसमें गैप्स भी बता दिए या ये लिख दिया कि ये मुझे इस तरीके से हेल्प करता है, लेकिन ये बहुत क्लियर नहीं होता है कि आपके इस रिव्यू ऑफ लिटरेचर ने आपको इस सवाल पे आने पे किस तरीके से हेल्प किया, राइट? कि आपके पास सवाल ऑलरेडी था, फिर क्योंकि आपको लिटरेचर रिव्यू लिखना था तो आपने अगर जैसे मैंने कहा, अगर ये है कि मेरा सवाल है कि मुझे sexual harassment in university space, I want to understand the experiences or redressal mechanisms, the way it works for permanent and non-permanent employees. So after that I form my questions, then I have a section on gender and I write, मतलब मैंने theoretical में जूडिथ बटलर को कोट कर दिया, निवेदिता मेनन को कोट कर दिया, कुछ और लोगों को कोट कर दिया, फिर सेक्सुअल हरासमेंट मेरा सेकंड सब हेडिंग हो गया, उसमें मैंने प्रिवेंशन ऑफ सेक्सुअल हरासमेंट एट वर्क प्लेस, उसके बारे में कुछ एक रिव्यू लिख दिया, यूजी सक्षम रिपोर्ट पे रिव्यू लिख दिया, जेवीसी पे रिव्यू लिख दिया, विशाखा जजमेंट पे रिव्यू लिख दिया, फिर परमानेंट एम्प्लॉइज नेचर ऑफ दैट उस पे लिख दिया. बट so all the important sections are there, but you're unable to see how is it coming together, why did you still choose this problem, right? So I hope मैं इसको थोड़ा मैंने ज्यादा इसको और वेग नहीं बना दिया.
So Shivani ji, can I quickly add something?
Sure. Absolutely, please do.
To my understanding, to some extent and at some places you can also give your concept map in a more refined manner. So as we learned today, we have engaged in concept mapping, which is a evolving kind of a process, and then it is evolved and stabilized to some extent. That is where we usually pause or stop for that problem or getting around the research question. But in some proposals that you may write in future for funding and all, there will be certain projects or certain research based proposal for which if you give a concept map, it will only add value to it.
Okay, right.
Yeah, because I saw in one of my projects, I mean, of course, not by the name of concept map, but the idea was same. So what happened was, like, we were trying to map how different SDG priorities, SDG goals, the basic goals, are reflected in the textbooks for social sciences for grade 9th and 10th. In one of the regions of Northeast. Okay, so there we started with a concept map and to tell our funders, this is how, and it also gives an idea of like how clear your team is about, approaching a research question, because at times most of the funding projects, say by World Bank or ADB, they're more like, on certain things which are not very research intensive. but there are also opportunities where projects come which are research intensive, and that's where they will get to know clarity of your mind, the process aspect of it, how do you define your outcomes, and how do you define the inputs that would go into it. So I think it's not a I mean, it's always good to add.
Absolutely. In fact, at least a final copy of it, if sometimes this may be helpful, say for your proposal, to add it as an annexure.
Yeah, as an annexure, absolutely. If not anything, then as an annexure.
Right. So, so you don't have to put like all of them which capture your journey, but at least the final one could always be, at least have a copy of it ready in case a question is asked. And like Reem is saying, for research projects, for project proposals, it may be useful for your funding agency to know, how have you come upon this, right? What has been your journey of reaching this, to see whether it is is it something that's really worth putting that effort and money in?
Exactly.
There is a question from Nikita that says, I'm wondering about how to write the branch of time period / when. For example, my theme is mental health among the LGBTQ community. I'm studying them in current times, but the history of pathologization will also come in the context. How do I write that in the concept map? So Nikita, when I said when, it is just one small idea of when, whether it is even relevant. Sometimes it may be relevant, sometimes it may not be relevant, right? For example, suppose I'm looking at online, just online learning, right? For me, it may be relevant to say, online learning specifically in context of a pandemic, what it does to those who are using it, right? So in that sense, so here when would mean, at what time we are talking about. A history of it can be another branch of it altogether. आप mental health के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, आप discipline के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, आप pedagogic ideas के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. So each of them have a certain evolution, right? So that can actually be, so in when can have two parts. When as in location of the study, the chronological, or the time based temporal location of the study, and another part of when or time period could be around the evolution. For some that may be a relevant part of the study, for some it may not be, right? So it, a lot of these, what I'm giving, what I've shared, are largely prompts or just beginning ideas. So when you first start with concept map, we don't know how to branch it out. As you start working on concept maps, you may just find some other way of going about it, right? So one may find that history becomes just another part of it, or the evolution of this concept, or of this process may be another part which is different from temporal location in terms of time, right? So I'm looking at pandemic times, pre-pandemic times, post-pandemic times, is one idea of when. The evolution of a particular concept may just be a separate branch altogether, right? If suppose I'm looking at the whole idea of mental illness or disturbance, right? So if one could be that I'm looking at, I'm placing it, I want to understand mental health or mental illness in times of pandemic. But of course, when I talk about history of it, for example, the way scholars like Foucault and others have written, that will be something, how it was seen, how it was engaged with. So that may be a separate branch altogether. So are there any other questions? So, wait, I can't see any other questions so far. So thank you all for joining in. Like I said, this is just a very, very introductory session on concept map. And, this is something that even you'll have more questions around once you start, trying to use them. And I do hope that for those of you, who are looking at research, find this session useful. You're able to use these concept maps. और आप में से कईयों के लिए ये हो सकता है कि आपके टर्म पेपर्स असाइनमेंट्स के लिए भी कई बार उनको मैप आउट करने के लिए यूजफुल होता है जब आपका क्वेश्चन क्लियर नहीं होता है, राइट? कि कई बार होता है कि आपको मतलब BA MA में आके आपको सीधा सवाल मिलेगा कि talk about this theory or applications of this theory. Sometimes, for example, you may be asked to choose your own theme, right? So in sociology of education, you choose your own theme on what you want to work. So some may want to work about the idea of discipline in education. Some may want to talk about the idea of social control in education. So there, when you're thinking of your own themes in that particular course, then again, concept map may be useful for you. That what about social control do you want to understand in education? What about discipline you want to understand in education? Right? So yeah. So thank you all for joining in, and I hope it was a useful session. The recording will be, it will be there on the Facebook page, and I'll share the links of the references so that you're able to use them. So yeah,
Thank you, Shwanidhi.
Thank you so much, and okay, bye-bye.